And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the CalTAP Healthcare webinar. My name is Kirk Eller, and I am a CalTAP training coordinator here at California Department of Veteran Affairs. On behalf of everyone here at Calvet and the CalTAP unit, I want to thank you for joining us this morning, and we want to thank you for your service. We have a great webinar for you, very important information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a quick agenda briefly. And first, some housekeeping rules. I'd like to ask if you could all please keep your microphones muted and your video cameras off. This way we will keep our bandwidth up and we won't lose any connectivity issues with our presentation. And then at the end, we're going to have a virtual question and answer portion, and you can ask the questions in the chat. My colleague Jen Rudquist is monitoring the chat function, and she will take any questions if you have, and we will direct them to the subject matter expert and address them at the end. If you're not familiar with the chat function, it's at the bottom of the toolbar there. There's a chat, and the next slide will have some information on it. The agenda for today is I'm going to give you a brief overview of the CalTAP program and what it is, what your California benefits are. And then we have our Calvet link, which is our local interagency network coordinator. And Anthony Rodriguez is going to be joining us for that. And he's going to tell you what he does in his network presentation for links. And then we have Charles Green from the VA healthcare system, and he's going to provide you some information on the Mission Act as well as VA healthcare. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and move forward. This is the chat function. If you're not familiar with Zoom, the chat function at the bottom, it shows the little highlighted area there as a toolbar. Click on that link and you'll have the chat. And Jen is going to be putting some information in the chat. So if you have a question, please address it to CalTAP questions, and she will direct the question to the appropriate person. So the CalTAP program, again, I want to tell you about the CalTAP overview. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I served from 1986 to 1990, and I've been with CalTAP for almost a year now. I joined them in December of last year, and I really enjoy this. This is a great program to provide benefits and information to veterans on what their benefits are. So what is the CalTAP program? CalTAP, it's designed to inform, connect veterans of all eras to what your benefits are, whether they're state and federal, and then provide continued support and assistance as your needs change over time. And how we do that is through different pathways, and those are the core curriculum, education, employment, and entrepreneurship. There's also a service provider pathway for any other businesses that want to do business with CalTAP. So to find Calvet, you would go to a Google search and look up Calvet, and we would be the top search right there. Click on Calvet, and that will take you to our homepage. On our homepage, there's a variety of areas where you can access a lot of information from education, employment, and healthcare, home loans and housing, as well as the CalTAP program. I highly encourage you to go to our website and access this on your own and navigate your way around to whatever information you're interested in. On the homepage, you can also find information regarding our Veterans Resource Book. At the bottom of the page, where it's highlighted here, it says Publications, and then it's Veterans Resource Book. If you click on that link, it will give you a PDF downloadable version of our Veterans Resource Book. And our Veterans Resource Book kind of looks like this. If it's hard to see with the virtual, but this is a very valuable information. On the back, it does have our 800 number available to you. And this book has everything that's covered in our core pathways is in this resource book. Again, also, Jen is going to be posting this resource link in the chat, as well as a file which you can click on to download that file as well as a PDF. So this is what our book looks like again. So how do you use CalTAP program online? It's very simple. Go to our webpage, and from the homepage on the right banner, you'll see the computer. It says CalTAP. If you click on that link, it will take you to the CalTAP page. The CalTAP page has all of our pathways covered. And for this purpose, we're going to go over the core curriculum, which entails the California specific benefits. California benefits are under Module 5. As you can see here, there's various modules throughout each curriculum. You can go through these as a self-paced modules and read through whatever information that is pertaining to you, whether it's healthcare or resilience or protecting your benefits, claims and compensation. Module 5 covers California specific benefits. This is what the California benefits will look like as a PDF on the web page. So what are your California benefits? If you go to the resource book, it begins on page 13 or chapter 1 of your California benefits. And then this is what your California overview would look like as well in the web page. Some of the most popular California benefits that we have are the college tuition fee waiver for dependents of veterans. This is a very, very big popular benefit. If you are a service-connected veteran with 0 to 100% service-connected disability through the VA, and you have college-age children, they are eligible to attend a UC or CSU or California Community College, and their tuitions will be waived. So this is a huge benefit for California veterans, and I highly encourage you to go to our website or ask questions if you have any more information about this. We also have DMV programs specific to California veterans. You can have veterans put right on your driver's license. You can access honoring veterans license plates. And if you're a disabled veteran with a service-connected disability that impairs you from mobility, you can also have your vehicle road registration fees waived. Other benefits that are eligible, fishing and hunting license reduced fees for your license, as well as a state park pass for no cost to any veterans for any of the state park systems. There's also tax programs available if you're eligible for disabled veteran. You can be eligible for property tax exemptions, business license exemptions, as well as a disabled veteran business enterprise program. If you're interested in the property tax exemption, I would highly recommend that you contact your county assessor's office to find out specifically what your tax benefit may be eligible for your specific county. CalVet home loans, we're going to have an upcoming webinar specifically on the home loans process and what kind of benefits CalVet provides to veterans here for home loans. They have great prices, great financing, and as well as interest rates. So I highly encourage you to check out one of our upcoming webinars for CalVet home loans. There's a CalVet Women Veterans in our department, which provide information, advocacy, and outreach and support to California women veterans. They also partner with the California Women Veterans Leadership Council, which enables you to sign up for a women's roster. The webpage for the women's veterans is on our homepage at the Women Veterans, and you can sign up for the statewide roster, which will enable you to gain all kinds of upcoming information on events that will be happening throughout the year. California minority veterans also have a page on our website that's available to provide information and advocacy and outreach and support for California minority veterans. They also help unnaturalized veterans in California with citizenship and naturalization services. This is what their website looks like, and you can access any information. They also have a statewide roster that you can sign up for and get email information as well. Our CalVet home loans are very popular. They provide long-term care for veterans for medical facilities, dental, pharmacy, and rehabilitation and social activities. We have 8 locations throughout the state, from Barstow and Chula Vista, all the way to Fresno and Lancaster and up to Redding. One of our popular ones also in West LA and Yountville. State cemeteries, California operates 3 throughout the state, 1 in the Central Coast and Seaside, and then we have the Northern California one in Redding. And then there's also a cemetery attached to the Yountville Veterans Home. So other common websites that we have that are affiliated with our website are obviously the VA, where you can access healthcare, disability, as well as any records that you have for service. And if you sign up for anything through the VA, you would create an account through the eBenefits portal. And this is what that page looks like, where you will create an account and log in, and you can access all of your VA benefits through this account. You can also look into the VA My Health eVet page. Once you create an account there, you can access information on your health records, email your doctor, set up appointments, as well as any pharmacy or prescription needs that you have. That covers the California benefit specific, and this is my contact information. If you have any questions, please email me. Our 800 number is also there. And I'm going to be turning this over to our link coordinator, which is Anthony Rodriguez, and I believe he's on. Anthony, if you could please unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for joining us, Anthony. And just let me know when you want to advance to the next slide.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you very much for joining. I see that we have over 40 participants, so that's awesome. Great topic. Also want to thank Charles Green, who's going to be coming up after me, very knowledgeable about the VA system and lots of good information there. So let me go ahead and get going. As I mentioned, my name's Anthony Rodriguez. I'm a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. I spent 8.5 years in the Marine Corps, stationed primarily on the East Coast, and now work at Calvet, and real happy to do so. Next page, please. So my title is LINK, and LINK stands for Local Interagency Network Coordinator. And in the state of California, there's 8 individuals who have my position. This map shows, it's color coordinated, and it shows the locations of the various links throughout the state. My area is the turquoise blue toward the bottom of the state, and I am responsible between Ventura and Los Angeles County for in between somewhere like 230, 250,000, maybe up to maybe 300,000 veterans in that area. And my job is to live locally in the area and to learn all about the different benefits and services available to you, so that when you call, I can help you to connect with all those that you may need. Next page, please. Now, in the job that I have, a big part of what I do is outreach. Obviously, with COVID, I do a lot less of that in terms of face-to-face, but we do a lot of Zoom calls and get the word out to a lot of individuals about the services we offer. We make a lot of referrals related to service providers locally. So those may be federal, state, county, city service providers. We make lots of recommendations there. We're a part of the state's Office of Emergency Services, and we represent veterans when disasters occur. We help with that. And we provide leadership and advocacy locally, in particular, giving kind of a state perspective on needs and concerns of veterans. Next page, please. So when you contact me, what I can do is help you connect, as I mentioned, with employment. Here it talks about EDD or the AJCCs, but I'm also very active with a lot of local agencies. So really housing, healthcare, mental health, employment, a lot of those areas I can try to connect you to. Now, I'm not the expert on the federal side. I know a lot about the federal, but I will kind of defer to the federal side. But I know a lot about the local side of benefits and different areas in terms of where to go and receive benefits. Lots of contacts I have personally, and that's how I would help out. Next page, please. All right. Well, I think I went through that. Next page again. One more time. Next page. Yeah, this is the page I think that, yeah, I would say that this is a good view of what I get questions about. So what are some of the differences in the benefits in education between the state and the federal? How does the VA work overall? The pillars of the VA. What are some of the veteran benefits I can find locally, statewide, with service providers, nonprofits? Do you have contacts? I get asked. Do you have contacts with veteran housing, with healthcare, with mental health, with employment, and so on. And can you tell me the difference between the VA home loan and the CalVet home loan? Also, I have lots of contacts with colleges, as I work a lot with the Veteran Resource Center directors, and so know them pretty well. And then some of the distinctions between benefits, federal, with active duty, reserve, National Guard. So again, I work to be an expert. There's a lot to know. And I think the best thing that I can do for you is give you an honest answer and tell you where I think things work well and where things don't work as well and who to go for those things. So those are some of the ways that you may want to give me a call. Those are some of the reasons why you may want to give me a call. Next page. Here's my contact information. My cell number, my work cell is right there. If you have questions about anything overall, in particular, anything locally, I'm happy to help you. My email is there as well. And glad you're on board. Look forward to hearing what Charles has to offer. That's it for me. I'll turn it back over to Kurt. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Anthony's a wealth of information. So if you have any information or any questions in your region, he can direct you to the information that you need to, or the person he can contact you. So he's a great resource for us down there. Thank you, Anthony. And now I'm going to turn it over to Charles. Charles Green is the Chief Outreach Community Relations Acting Site Manager for the VA Sepulveda Clinic, and he's going to give you some information on the Admissions Act as well as VA healthcare. Charles, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak today. Again, my name is Charles Green. I'm the Chief of Outreach and Community Relations for Hospital System. Currently, I'm the Acting Site Manager for the Sepulveda Ambulatory Care Center, and it's an honor to be here today. A little bit about myself. I'm retired from the United States Army. I did over 20 years of active duty, in which 3 years were with the United States Marine Corps. So I'm just very happy and honored to serve our great nation, and I'm happy today to be able to speak to you. I'd like to talk to you a little bit this morning about the Admissions Act. The Admissions Act came out in 2018. Congress passed a bill, and the president signed a law, the Admissions Act. The VA had up to 1 year to implement the Admissions Act, and on June 6th of 2019, the Admissions Act was established, and the VA, we rolled it out. And what I'd like to do this morning is talk about some of the key elements about the Admissions Act and how this benefit is there for you, and hopefully you'll be able to utilize some of the key components of it. Some of the key elements of the Admissions Act is it combines community care programs into a unified integrated experience. It expands veterans' eligibility for caregiver services to all areas of veterans, which we're going to talk about. It authorizes anywhere-to-anywhere telehealth provisions across state lines. It establishes a VA Center for Innovation for Care and Payments. Under the old system, you would have to go to fee basis, or you would have to go to different other entities to make payments. Now all that's streamlined and consolidated, which I'll talk about a little bit later. It strengthens the VA ability to recruit and retain clinicians. It empowers veterans with increased access to care in the community. It creates ability for the VA to match infrastructure to veterans' needs, and it establishes urgent care in the community for veterans, which we're going to talk about. Next slide. Next slide. So the first part I'd like to talk about is care and community eligibility. I'm quite sure everybody remember the CHOICE program, when veterans had the opportunity to go out in the community and to get care. Well, with the Admissions Act, it's similar, except for it has different criteria, which we're going to talk about, but it's still a program for veterans to have access to care in the community. So what I'm going to talk about, there are now 6 eligibility criteria. You must meet one of them. Basically, everything is expanded and is straightforward. So everything is streamlined. So there's no hardship or no interruption in community care or continuity care for the veterans. Everything is pretty straightforward. When we use this program for veterans to go out, the veterans, with their provider, they have a tool called Decision Support Tool. And what this tool does is that it's an automated system that the veteran can sit on with his provider and find out what type of care is outside, drive times, wait times. It's a tool that the provider and the veteran uses to make a good decision what type of health care they would like to use at this time. Next slide. So out of the 6 criteria, the first one would be if a service is unavailable at the VA. So if the VA is not eligible or able to carry out a specific service, then the veteran can go for care in the community. And for example, as it has in the slide, say that we have a veteran, female veteran, and she needs maternity care. Since the VA is not experts in maternity care, then the veteran would, with her provider, they would opt in, and then they would decide that it's better to go out in the economy or in the community, such as Kaiser or City of Hope or UCLA, and get the care needed for maternity care. So this is just one of the criteria. Next slide. The next slide will be best medical interest. So when the VA and when the provider and the veteran decide what care might be best needed on the outside, then they will sit down and make a joint decision of what services be more provided. Next slide. For example, if there's a certain type of cancer that the VA is not an expert in, maybe it's better for the veteran to go like to UCLA to the oncology clinic there for a specific type of cancer, and they will get a better treatment because they will be the experts and the specialists in that particular type of cancer, and it will be best interest of the veteran and for the VA, for the veteran to have the opportunity to go out to get that care to be taken care of. Next slide. The next slide is going to be for our quality standards. And this slide here is basically is that if needing care from a VA medical service and the line is not in compliance with the VA standards for quality. So if you, for example, find out that maybe the VA is having a problem in a specific service line, for example, say hypothetically that you found out that someone was going to optometrist, and when they went to optometrist, they were injecting the wrong type of solution into the veteran, and it was not in compliance. Then at that time, you could let your provider know that you don't want to use the service at the VA because it's not compliant, and therefore you and your provider will decide that it'd be better for you to go out on the economy or go out in the community to get that care. So that's if we're not meeting the care standards. Next slide. The next slide is talking about access. And I think maybe a lot of you remember Choice. Choice used to be 40-minute drive time and more than 30 days to get an appointment. Now it's been streamlined more. So right now, if the VA can't furnish care with certain designated access standards, and on the bottom of the slide, you can see what they are. For example, for primary care, mental health, and non-institutional extended care, drive times is 30 minutes, wait times is 20 days. And if you go to specialty care, then the drive time is 60 minutes and the wait time is 28 days. And I use myself, for example. I have a disability, and I thought that when I had this disability, I talked to my provider, and I thought that acupuncture would be another alternative method for getting to help get relief for the chronic pain that I had. So I went to talk to my provider, and we decided that it would be a good idea for me to go out to get acupuncture. So we looked in the system, and the wait times for acupuncture were more than 28 days. So therefore, my provider gave me a referral to go out through Care in the Community. And then I received the referral. They gave me a call. Once they gave me a call, they asked me what time I would like to see my appointment, what times that I like my appointment, daytime or nighttime. What's my preference, male, female, demographics. Do I have a specific doctor I'd like to see? I gave them the information, and then they send me out in the community to get acupuncture. I'm in my final appointments, but all this going out is all free. I don't have to make any calls, and the VA will make sure that within 180 days after I finish all my treatments, that bill is all consolidated and taken care of, one-stop shop. So from the provider, me sitting down talking to the provider on the decision support tool, going through referral, now getting the care, and also the billing will be taken care of, all streamlined for the veteran for nonstop. So that's one thing that's very good with the Mission Act, is now we have access to different drive times and wait times. Next slide. Next slide, please. So next slide. So the next one criteria will be residency in a state without a full VA medical facility. So if you lived in Alaska, Hawaii, New Hampshire, Guam, American Samoan, the Virgin Islands, these areas, they don't have a full VA medical facility. So veterans who live in these particular areas, they can receive care in the community because they don't have a fully staffed clinic. Next slide. Veterans will be grandfathered in. Veterans who are using the choice program, they will be grandfathered in. So when this was enacted of June of 2006, they had up to 1 year, which would have been June of this year, to be grandfathered in. Now the veterans, if they need care, they would have to see their provider again to get another consultation to go out for care in the community. So these right here are basically, next slide. These are the 6 criteria for going out for care in the community that you would have to meet just one of them to be able to go out. Now I'd like to talk about the second part that's very important for the Mission Act, and that is the urgent care benefit. And this is very, very important. So with the Mission Act, right, it established a new benefit for urgent care, walk-in care. So veterans, they can go out in the community for urgent care. Urgent care is not emergency care. It's non-life-threatening. It's for urgent matters. So in order to use this program, you have to pick a VA contracted provider. You would go to our website at www.va.gov, and you would click on community providers to find out what urgent care facilities are located close to where you live at. It's very, very important that you pick providers in the network, because if you don't pick a provider that's not in the network, then you would have to pay the cost out of your pocket. So it's very, very important that you go into the network to pick a contracted provider. It does not prevent health care. It does not include preventive services, except for flu vaccinations. And by the way, everyone should get a flu shot. You can get them at Costco, you can get them at Walgreens, and also you can come to Sepulveda or your clinic, and you can walk in, and your clinic will also be able to issue you a flu shot, flu vaccination. One thing important about using urgent care, you must be seen in the VA healthcare system during the previous 24 months. So in other words, during the previous 24 months, you have to have had some type of appointment at the VA facility. Very, very important that you continue to maintain your care. I would say once a year, you should at least go in to check with your doctors and make sure your medications are correct, and maybe get a physical but maybe stay connected so you can have access to all these programs. One thing good about urgent care is that the cost. So according to priority groups, if you're in priority group 1 through 6, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, priority group 1 through 6, the first 3 visits are free, and the 4th visit you have to pay a $30 copay. If you're in priority group 6, the first 3 visits are 6. Anything after the 4th visit, then you have to pay a $30 copay. But in priority group 6, it has to be related to your combat experience. And if you're in priority group 7 through 8, then you would have to pay a $30 copay every time you make a visit. So it's really good that if you have any urgent issues, you can just go out and the VA, long as you've been in the system within the last 24 months, the urgent care provider can look you up in the VA system to make sure that you are an active participant, and then you can receive the care. Also, not on the slide, but X-ray will be included if you need urgent care, and also they would also give you 14 days pharmacy prescription. Next slide. So the final part of the Mission Act is pretty important, very important, is the caregiver support. So under the old system, the caregiver support was only for OIF, OEF, OND, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation New Dawn. It was only for those veterans who had serious injuries, and that program was set up for the caregivers to provide, assistance to those veterans, and also for caregivers to receive different payments for helping assist veterans. Well, as of October 1st of this year, it's been expanded. So anyone who served from 1975 and before, so that will be our Vietnam veterans, now they will be eligible to apply for the caregiver support program. Next slide. Who should apply for the caregiver support? A veteran who has a single combined service-connected disability of 70% or more. So basically, you got to be 70% service-connected, or is a person in need of personal care of service for a minimum of 6 continuous months. Or you have to have either inability to perform active or daily activity livings each time activities performed, or need supervision, protection, or instructions, which means a functional impairment that directly impacts his or her ability to maintain personal safety on a daily basis. Also, not on the slide, there's also qualifications. If you go to the website at www.caregiver.va.gov, there's information on there about the qualifications for becoming a caregiver, and the caregivers will also be paid a stipend at GS grade 4, step 1, based on the locality pay of where they're located at. So basically, that caregiver is going to be giving that veteran 24-hour service. They're going to be like an employee of the government and receiving payments for taking care of their loved ones or the veteran who needs that care. And again, you would have to fill out a 1010 CG, which is an application for caregiver support to be eligible. Also, again, you can go to www.va.gov, or you can go to www.losangeles.va.gov, and there's more information on the caregiver support. Again, the next slide, it kind of summarizes the same thing I just talked about. I just talked about the veterans eligibility. It's the same thing that I just talked about in the previous slide. So let's talk a bit more about healthcare. So basically, in order to enroll in healthcare, a veteran, they have to have 24 months of active duty or complete the deployment ordered by the President of the United States. So if you're a reservist and you were deployed and receive hazardous duty pay, then you can be eligible to join the healthcare system. Once you join the healthcare system, you're assessed and you're given a physical, and then you're assigned to what we call a PAC team, Patient Care Alignment Team. And that team consists of a provider, which is a doctor, a nurse, a social worker and an MSA, and they will take care of all of your continuity care while you're in the VA. One thing good about being on the patient care alignment team, once you get to meet your doctor, if you need to get prescriptions refilled or if you need to get any communication, as we have seen in the previous slide, you can use My Healthy Vet to communicate with your provider. I know a lot of times veterans, they have concerns about not being able to get access or telephone calls, but through My Healthy Vet, your provider within 48 hours will get back to you to answer your questions, to give you situations. So once you get to a PAC team, they'll take your care. So let's talk about priority groups real quick. So your priority group is basically built, it's associated with your service connected. When you put your claim in for disability, whatever your rating is and your disability claim is, that's how you get assigned to a priority group. And I'm just going to talk quickly about them. So priority group 1 is for veterans who are 50% service connected. So if you have a service connected of 50% service connected or greater, you basically get free service connected for your disabilities and non-service connected. You basically get free health care. If you're in priority group 2, and if you are 30% or 40%, then you're assigned in priority group 2. Once you're in priority group 2, what happens is it will determine, your income will determine if you have to make a co-payment. So if your income is approximately under 40,000, then you won't have any co-pays. But if your income is over 40,000, then everything that's not service connected, you would have to pay a $15 co-pay for regular appointments, and for specialty, a $50 co-pay. Priority group 3 is basically for veterans who are prisoner of war, Purple Hearts, 10% to 20% service connected, then you'll be in priority group 3. Priority group 4 are for veterans who are receiving aid and attendant, housebound, and receiving that type of benefit. Priority group 5 is basically for VA who receive a VA pension, who are not getting compensation but getting a VA pension, or if you have a 0% disability rating. Priority group 6 is probably a pretty important priority group, because in this priority group, veterans who were served in Vietnam from June 9th, 1962 to May 7th, 75, they can always get into the healthcare system. Or if you served in the Persian Gulf between August 2nd, 1990 and November 11th, 1998, you can also always get into the healthcare system regardless of your income. And if you were on active duty at Camp Lejeune for at least 30 days between August 1st, 1953 to December 31st, 1987, because of the water contamination, you also will be in priority group 6. As of right now, priority group 7 or 8 are sort of like suspended. So those are basically the priority groups. Next slide. And what I would like to, and here's my information. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me through email or through my cell phone. I'll be happy to answer. And I'll turn it back over to the facilitator for any questions and answers you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for the information. And right now, what we'd like to do is we'd like to open it up to the Q&A. And if Jen has any questions that were asked in the chat, we can direct them to either Charles, myself, or Anthony, and we can field those questions accordingly. Jen, how are we doing?
We do have 3 questions. The first question is, what is the disability rating criteria to be seen in the ER, and have the veteran covered by VA? I have 10 to 100% disabled vets seeking services.
Okay, thank you for the question. Charles, I'll let you field that one since it's in your wheelhouse there.
So to go to the ER, if a veteran is service connected and it's life-threatening, the veteran should go to the ER for life-threatening situations. Once the veteran is stabilized, then once the veteran, if they're cognitive or coherent, then they should let the hospital know that they are, that they're a veteran, so they can arrange. The hospital can make arrangements with our hospital system at West LA to transfer you to the VA to get treatment for that disability. Depending on what the service connected is, what the emergency room bill is, that would have to be determined through our billing department. They would have to make that determination, like what type of costs we pay or not pay, based on what type of emergency it is and what the care is. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you. Jen, next question.
Next question is from Ryan Sparks. He says, if a veteran is qualified for VA healthcare, how does the Mission Act work with providers? Does provider create the referral to the other services?
Okay, good question. Good question. So this is the way it works. The veteran, he or she comes in and they talk to the provider. When they talk to the provider, the provider is going to launch decision support tool, which is an automated system. What the provider is going to ask the veteran is like, okay, they're going to look at the wait times. Like, it depends on what the veteran wants to go out for. If the VA is within standards, then the veteran has to be seen within the VA if they're within standards. So if the appointment is only 10 days away, the veteran has to take the appointment, especially for priority, for mental health or for primary care. But if it's over, the 20 days, excuse me. Sorry, 1 second. So if it's over the 20-day wait, then the veteran has the opportunity to go out in the community. So at that time, the veteran would have to opt in with his provider. The provider would ask the veteran, they would say, for this specific care, we won't be able to see you for over 20 days. So would you like to wait 30 days to see a provider, or would you like to go out to care in the community? Then the veteran at that time must opt in. They must tell the provider, yes, I do want to go out to care in the community. At that time, the provider will generate a referral. The referral will go in the community. Care in the community is now a network. It'll go to Care in the Community Network, and it'll go to an assigned clerk for that specialty. But then that person will find out what type of appointments are available and what type of providers are available in the community. And then they will contact the veteran and call them and say, we have this doctor here available. Would you like to see them? Or can you give us a list of some other doctors you would like to see? And then they will talk that through with you. Then they will make an appointment for you to go out in the community to get the care. But you must opt in with your provider. It's not automatic. You must say, yes, I want to go out for care in the community. I hope that answers your question.
Wow. Thank you very much. That was you definitely gave us a lot of great information. So our next question is to Connie Dar, from Connie Dar. She says, I'm registered with VA with no disabilities. I have low priority rating. I'm considering purchasing a long-term care insurance plan, but am wanting to make the best decision for myself and future care if needed. I'm curious to know whether or not the VA for me is a viable option if I need long-term care. I don't want to invest money in long-term care insurance program, though the federal government or with private insurer, if the VA services are available to me.
So to answer that question, I guess my question for the individual who asked the question would be, first of all, are you already enrolled in the VA healthcare system? Because once you're in for life. Mm-hmm. That would be the first question. The second part of that is, it sounds like that if she was grandfathered in before a certain date and she's under the income requirement, then all her healthcare will be free. But if she's over the income requirement, then she would have to pay a copay of $15 for appointment or $50. I'd like to ask her, did she ever get a physical? And was she ever completely enrolled in the VA healthcare system? That would be my question.
So I did unmute her. So Connie, you can speak now. I have unmuted you and allowed you to turn on your camera if you'd like. Connie, are you there?
Unmute. I am. Thank you so much. And I was
So
just,
Connie,
yes, sir.
so ma'am, thank you for your service to our great nation. Thank you for being a veteran. We appreciate it. My question for you is that, are you enrolled in the VA healthcare system already?
I am. I was deployed to Iraq 2010, 2011.
Okay.
And as a result of that, I went through an extensive physical with the VA. And at that time, I did get registered.
So once you're in for life then. So as of right now, what happens then, once you're in, it depends on all your service-connected disabilities are free. Everything that you're not service-connected for, you would have to pay a copay. So are you service-connected right now or not?
I am not. I have no
Okay.
disabilities. Thank you, God.
Okay, so every time you go to the VA, right, if your income is under, and you don't have to tell me your income on the phone, you don't have to say this, I'm just putting this out. If your income is under 40,000, or it depends on if you're married, but if your income is generally under 40,000, then you probably don't have to pay any copays at all. But if your income is greater than that, then every time you go in, you have to pay a $15 copay for normal appointments and $50 copay for specialty appointments.
All right. Mr. Green, how about long-term care?
So
Yeah.
that's a good question. That's a good question. So in my previous, in the presentation I gave on caregiver support, as you can see that for the veteran to use that program, they had to be 70% service connected or greater. So in some of our programs, like using our CLC, like our nursing home and stuff, those veterans, in order to get in there, they have to be 70% service connected or greater. So depending on what the need is for long-term care, your service connected disability, your service connection might come into play if you're eligible or not for that.
Okay, I think you've answered my question. Again, currently I have no disabilities service-related disabilities. I do have, as a part of my reality, however, the fact that I have full-blown osteoporosis. So that's the only reason that I have decided I probably better are, and now, as a result of this webinar, and I cannot thank you enough, I bet I've spent 24, 48 hours trying to research that answer. And I swear to goodness, I didn't see anything about a 70% service disability making you eligible or ineligible for long-term care. So I've got my answer. I greatly appreciate your help.
All right, thank you. And thank you for your service to our country. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for thanking us. That's what I usually say.
I also want to add that CalVet has long-term care homes. There's one facility on the West LA campus, and these provide care from assisted living all the way to memory care. And you can look at that as an option. However, you do have to pay a portion of your income, and it would be between 40 and 60% of your income. However, you can come and go when you please, but you know, it is an option. However, right now with COVID, just to let you know, most of the facilities statewide are still closed. As you know, most of those individuals who live in the homes are 70, 80, 90 years old. So fortunately, we've only had 2 deaths in the entire system. So we're very, you know, we're very cautious of people that come in that program. But it is an option, and you can find information about that when you look under calvet.ca.gov. And I believe it's, Kirk, correct me if I'm wrong, but California Homes, Veteran Homes.
Yeah, the long-term care, it's under the long-term care. It's on our homepage.
That's it.
But again,
I can
gentlemen,
send that to you, Connie.
well, I was going to say before you all go, again, I heard I do not have 70%
Yes.
rated disability. So I don't have access to those homes.
Well, ma'am, the homes I just mentioned are state homes, and then
Correct.
Charles is representing federal homes, federal
Yes.
facilities.
Yes.
So
Oh,
the criteria are different, and in our homes, you do not have to have a 70%. It's a different criteria because you're paying, basically you're paying to live there in part. And so for the eligibility criteria, I'd recommend you go to that website, ma'am. And Jen's going to put it up on the chat, and you can have information, or you can call me later, ma'am, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Right.
I appreciate it. All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So Connie, I did send that in the chat to you. And also wanted to say that it's based on your income, and it's based, the cost of it is based on your income and based on the level of care you need. So it is
Right.
definitely affordable. And so you're not gonna go bankrupt, getting the care that you deserve. And also these are beautiful homes. So please check out that link that I sent you. You can click on each home and see where they're at and what they offer.
And is that in fact, say veteran homes? I've got it. All right, awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. You're welcome. All right. So another question we have from Bob. He said, my father is a World War II merchant marine, and he served in the Coast Guard in the early 1950s. He is 93 years old. He was told he did not qualify for VA benefits, but he was eligible for CalVet loan. How can we relook at earlier determination? Seems there's a couple different things going on in there. So the CalVet home loan, that is open to any veteran in the state of California. The requirements are just that you are a resident that wants to live in California. For the VA benefits, you would have to you'd have to go to your local county veteran service office, or you'd have to go somewhere to get rated by the Department of Defense, depending on if he has a disability or not. Anybody else want to step in there?
Yeah, I would like to also say that if you have a DD-214 or some type of separation document from that era of the service, you might want to bring that into our business office. It's located at West LA, or we have one that's a Sepulveda, and they can look up the eligibility to see if his dad is eligible to get health care.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure, but it's better to bring a copy of your DD-214 or your separation document to the business office. They can look at the eligibility and they can tell you if he's qualified or not. I recommend doing that.
Yep. Okay.
Great, thank you so much. So our next question is from Vance Taylor. He says, is there a point of contact for veterans who are interested in volunteering to educate veterans in basic financial and legal skills and knowledge, especially for enlisted personnel who are detaching from the service? That would be for you, Anthony, I believe.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'm aware of programs that are existing on bases. So locally, they have from the Family Services Departments, LA Air Force Base and Edwards Air Force Base, they have a financial expert who's providing information there. That's a government paid job. And if you were to go on to the base or look them up under Google, you might be able to talk to somebody from Family Readiness, and then talk to them about how they got hired. I'm also aware that the California America's Job Centers, AJCCs, are required by law to present financial information to those who are unemployed, and they have the DVOPs and leavers. Those are special veterans who are hired by the Employment Development Department. They work in conjunction with AJCCs. And they also, as I say, are required to have financial services provided for the unemployed. So that might be another way. They typically come in, at least on the AJCCs, as a consultant. And I'm aware also that at many of the committees that I've been a part of in LA, occasionally we'll have some financial experts who volunteer and provide services for many of the meetings, associations, different groups. So that might be another avenue there. And if the person interested would like to contact me, I'd be happy to share what I know. I'll turn it over to Charles if he knows anything there.
No, I think you, the same thing, Anthony, as you said, the military bases, we kind of like, we're in the same kind of circle. So I think the references you gave were pretty good.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so we have another question here. It's a really great question, and I think we definitely need to touch on this. It is from Joe Homan. He says, how do I go about getting tested for Agent Orange? There's a list of presumptive diseases linked to Agent Orange. And as long as you have your DD Form 214 that shows that you were in the location at that certain time, if you have something, you have some sort of disease that is on that presumptive list, it's presumptive that you got it. You got it from Agent Orange. Is there a test that we can take? Is there a test for that?
So I would say that here at the VA, right, we have different registries. Like we have an Agent Orange registry. So the veteran, when he goes to see his provider, he should ask. I think in West LA they have a Agent Orange registry. You would have to fill out the paperwork. Then you would go in. They would give you a physical, and then you will be on the registry. So then, if you have any of those disabilities come up, you know, automatically they would give you care for it. But he should talk to his provider and or go to West LA, and I think it's in building 304. They have the Agent Orange registry. You fill out the paperwork, and then they make an examination to give you examination for Agent Orange to put you in the registry, and then they will help take care of your care.
Great. So what I'm going to do right now for everyone, I'm going to put in a link from the va.gov that has the Agent Orange. It speaks about Agent Orange. And then also one more time, Charles, what was the name of that place? So I can put that also in the chat where they can go.
I would say for right now, because I'm not really sure. I think it was 304, but I want to make sure. I would recommend that they talk to their provider.
Just talk to their provider. Okay.
Yeah, go to their provider, and they'll give them the right resource, you know, the right place to go for that. Because we switch around different things. They close because of COVID, so I'm not really sure if that building is still open right now.
Let's see if Agent Orange registry comes up on Google, and I'll see if VA is attached to that, so I can send that out.
Okay.
So while I'm doing that, I'm going to let you guys know the next question on this list. It is from Rudy Duran. He says, is a veteran required to enroll in TRICARE standard to receive medical care to utilize a provider at the VA?
So you're talking about apples and oranges right now. So I can kind of answer this question. So as a veteran, right, once you get off active duty, unless you're in a reserve component, right, you probably don't have access to TRICARE anymore unless you retire from military or you're medically discharged. So, you know, so TRICARE is different than VA healthcare system. VA healthcare system basically goes by your disability. So when you're out of the military, just basically as a veteran with those disabilities associated with your military service. TRICARE is more like a military insurance that's affiliated, like, again, if you're medically retired, if you reserve component, or if you have some type of access through the military through TRICARE. So it's kind of two separate programs. So if he's going to be enrolled in TRICARE, maybe he's retired from military. And like myself, I'm in TRICARE, I'm enrolled in TRICARE, and I'm also enrolled in VA, but it's two separate entities, if that makes sense.
So Charles, say for instance, he is a retiree, but perhaps he does have a service-connected disability, and he could be eligible for VA healthcare for that service-connected disability. So which one would you want to utilize more than the other? I mean, would the TRICARE cover his regular health care and then the VA care for his service connected?
So good question. So I'll use myself for example. I'm retired from military and I work for the VA. So I use the VA healthcare system and I also use TRICARE.
Right.
So I get to pick and choose what I want. So since I work at the VA, since I worked at VA, I sometimes feel more freer to go out on economy or private sector. So I go see my private provider who's in the TRICARE system, and that person can talk to me, give me my physical, or give me referrals to other specialties in the TRICARE network. So that's one part. So that's separate. Or what I do is for my medications, I go to the VA. I have my VA provider, and I tell my VA provider, I've been seeing my outside provider through TRICARE. These are the things that's going on with me. Can you give me my medications, which is free? Because I'm 80% service connected or greater. So all my medication is free. But in TRICARE, I would have to pay a copay. But the VA, my medication is free. So I can choose between both what I use. So it's my choice. Or if I need a second opinion, for example, for some reason, TRICARE, they did not do acupuncture. I don't know why. They didn't give me referral acupuncture. But I went to the VA system, and because of the VA connected with TRICARE in their network, that person, they took acupuncture, but TRICARE didn't take it. Does that make sense? So I get to use both of them.
Yes, I unmuted Rudy so he could ask any additional follow-up questions on that.
Okay.
Rudy,
Yes,
are you
sir.
there?
Hello? Yes.
Yes,
Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Rudy. Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, I'm retired. Retired in 2015 of 20 years of the Marine Corps. And I was on standard automatically, which they enroll you in, 90% service connected. And I just got a letter from TRICARE stating that they're going to be utilizing premiums for standard now. So that was my question is, so the VA, I'm only allowed to use service connected, and if something else was to pop up, I would have to use my standard provider via premium.
So let me I can answer that because I'm like in the same category with you. First of all, you should have trying. So you retired active duty 20 years?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, so you're like me. So you should have TRICARE Prime, not Select. You should have Prime, and you get to use both systems. So if you're 80% service connected, excuse me, if you're 50% service connected or greater, you get free healthcare from the VA for your service connected and non-service connected. And then you still could have your TRICARE and have a provider in TRICARE that you pick of your choosing. And you can also get care through TRICARE also. You get to pick each one. But with TRICARE, you have to pay a copay versus the VA is everything's free.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
So I have to enroll in Prime. Is that correct? Because I'm in standard currently.
You should have TRICARE Prime.
I don't, because I thought that was only if you live by a base, and then if not, you would be on standard.
No, I can't. As a retiree, I can't use a base. When I came from Germany, I tried to go to LA Air Force Base. They wouldn't take retirees. So I have a doctor in economy. So I picked a doctor. I have a private physician, in Sherman Oaks, California. I see him, and he gives me my referrals to go to TRICARE. And then every time I get a referral, it must go to the TRICARE network to get approval for that disability. But then I have co-pays associated with that. Compared to using the VA, I don't have no copay for anything because I'm 50% or greater service connected.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure that the VA wasn't, I didn't want to misuse the VA and say, hey, am I allowed to use that as my only provider? But that's not the option. It's only service connected, correct?
No, you want to use the VA because you get a second opinion, plus you get to use urgent care, plus you get to use the Mission Act, plus you get caregiver support, and plus you also get the benefits from using TRICARE as a retiree. So you have the best of both worlds. So you want to make sure you utilize both of them.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time on the clarification.
Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you, sir.
So that seems to be the last question that I see here. If anybody else has anything, we can wait for a couple minutes while we wait for that. Kirk, want to go over our upcoming webinars?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So we do have a couple webinars coming up this month. And I want to remind you again, the CalTAP webinars are similar to what this one is specifically like on the healthcare. So you'll see the webinars coming up on the 4th and the 8th and the 11th. They all have CalTAP with specific topics like mental health or legal aid, discharge upgrades. And they're going to be in the similar webinar of what this one is. We also have some college-based webinars coming up for College of the Canyons, as well as some coming up for the Riverside Community College District. So if you go to our website, calvet.ca.gov, and if you come to our CalTAP on the archives page, you'll see some of the upcoming webinars that are coming up. You can also go to our Eventbrite page at CalTAP on eventbrite.com, and you can look and see and register at that site for any upcoming webinars as well. So hopefully you can come and join us for some upcoming webinars on specific topics. And we've kind of condensed the format down a little bit to shorten the webinars. Instead of them being some 3-hour-long marathons, we've made them a little more 1-hour snippets on specific topics to make it more easier to log in.
So Kirk, if someone wants to go to an older webinar,
Sure.
will they be able to view the presentation itself and
Yes.
the contact information?
They will. They can actually look at the whole recorded webinar. In fact, this webinar that we're conducting right now today is being recorded, and it will be uploaded on our archived webinar sites. So Jen, can you put the link in the chat for the archived webinars to access the recorded ones? Thank you.
It's all in there so far.
Yep.
I put a link in for the CalTAP portal, which you go down the page a little bit and you'll see the click for archives. And then also, if you look down, you can also click on the Eventbrite. So already in there, got you covered. I also put in there for you guys the link to the recorded presentations, including this one will be
outstanding. She's on it. See.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody. Charles, I want to reach out to you again. Thank you very much for your time, and
Thank
Anthony
you.
as well. We appreciate everything that you guys do for serving and assisting veterans and their families, providing this information. It's an invaluable service. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to contact any one of us as a presenter. We will be more than happy to answer your question. If we don't, we will be able to reach out to the people and get you the information that you need.
Yes.
With that being said, I'll go ahead and put our department number on there and the email again for the last minute of contact. If you need any information, please contact us.
And then also, Kirk,
with that being said,
can you go back to the page with everybody's contact information, all our presenters? So we'll give everybody a chance to take a picture of that or do a screenshot of that.
Jen, I know that's your old information. She has a name change on there. Her last name is Rudquist, by the way, so I apologize for not updating that.
I didn't even catch
it's an old slide.
It's not that old. I just changed it, everybody. So it's not that old. But my name is underneath my picture here where it says Jennifer. It says CalTAP /CalTAP or Calvet. It's right there. So it's Rudquist. RUDQUIST as in Tango. All right. Thank you, everybody. We can go back to the last slide.
Well, I want to thank you again, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We will look for you again on some of our upcoming webinars. Thank you for all your service. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Jen, for all your support. And we'll go ahead and close. Thank you all. Goodbye.